Gagasi FM.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Durban Tourism Women in Tourism panel discussion. Ikamela Munjab Zwane from Gagasi FM. You may have figured out, Uguti, this panel discussion, of course, is in partnership with the Big G. You may be wondering, why are we talking about tourism, Kangaga? Because Tourism Month is only coming up in September. Women are in tourism. They are doing amazing things in tourism. And we just wanted to open up this world to you. See what happens behind the curtain, before the niceties that you see in the tourism sector. There's a lot of work that goes on behind it, and a lot of women are at the helm. So let me introduce to you the panel that's going to be taking part in this discussion. To my right, I have got the Deputy Director at Durban Tourism, Miss Winile Mtungwa. Welcome. Thank you so much for being part of the discussion here tonight.
Thank you, Njebs, for the warm welcome. And because this is tourism driven, I'd like to also welcome you to the space of the subject matter of tourism.
Thank you very much. I've also got, in a very nice and bright orange dress, representing her company really, really well, I have got Miss Keshni Dansa from the Durban Flying Dress. She's also a winner of an award that was presented at the Durban Tourism Business Awards. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Njabs. It's an honor being here.
At the helm of the Durban Convention Center is Miss Gukumkunu, who also joins us namhlanje in a lovely bright and green number. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Jebs. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Miss Christine is also known quite a lot in this Durban tourism streets. She is the owner of Shongweni Farmers Market. Thank you so much for being with us, Christine.
Thank you for inviting me to participate in this panel's discussion. Really appreciate it.
And if you go out west of Durban, you will be very familiar with Magaba Lounge. I also have with me the owner, Unomcebo Langa. Gorgeous girl, welcome.
Thank you so much, Jebs, and thanks for welcoming me.
Now, I think before we go into the Q&A parts of this discussion, I would just like to give Miss Mdunga the opportunity to perhaps just set the scene for us. We are aware Uguti Women in Tourism is something that's been going on for a number of years, along 2013 if I'm not mistaken. So maybe just set the scene. What's that about? The strides that have been made. What's the aim with Indefanane Women in Tourism?
Thank you very much, Njebs. And I'd like to also take this opportunity to welcome these lovely ladies, these powerhouses, these thought leaders that I am very honored to be with in this panel. What is very exciting, is that I come from government, local government, and I have ladies from the private sector. And I also have a lady representing the city entity, which is a parastatal. So this reflection right here is an indication of the collaboration that we, as the different stakeholders within the tourism value chain, can actually, we're currently having, and also we can achieve greater things, because tourism is not only a responsibility of government. We rely so much on private sector, and we really appreciate the contribution of private sector, that they contribute into the growth of our tourism economy. So coming back to the, the subject matter of, women in tourism, the fundamentals is to say in the tourism space, because it's a very diverse sector, and it's so dynamic, and it's got highly, intricate elements into it in the ecosystem. There is critical roles that we've recognized in terms of the roles that are played by women. For example, the women getting into a very highly sophisticated space within the value chain of tourism. Right here, we are sitting is in front of me in the value chain of tourism, which is about multimedia, because everything that you project in tourism, you have to sell through digital platform, and you record, you have to sell. So I'm excited, I'm impressed that I see women behind these machines right in front of us. So that also talks to women in tourism. But coming back to the major value chain is that right here, we've got women that are driving forces around programs or establishments that are known to be predominantly male-dominated. Historically, Ushisanyama in a township was known to be a male-dominated,
Yeah, not only the business running, but also the attendance.
The attendance as well. But right here in this panel, we've got Usis Nomtebo from a township, Hammersdale, who is really making it happen. And Makaba Lounge is now a global brand. We're excited with that, and it talks to the women in tourism to say she's contributing to tourism in the township and in a highly, male-dominated environment. Because when you do a head count, really, there's very few of Shisanyamas that are female-driven. So she was brave to actually get into the space. And then I come to the Shongweni, farmers market. It has grown in leaps and bounds. It starts with the innovation, the vision. Women are visionaries. Even in homes, they are domestic, visionaries, making things happen. Now, you've got Shongweni's farmers market, and right now, the growth of that, a vehicle, it grows in leaps and bounds. And we're very proud to have Christine here in terms of, say, as a woman in tourism, she's demonstrating that women can make it happen. Against all the challenges, when you go to that, I went there like earlier in the year, for a site inspection. One, they've moved because of growth from the old site to a new site, and it's just so incredible. And they're also evolving around environmental friendliness initiative, eco-friendly, and just making sure that the way they grow their business is aligning with friendliness to the environment. Sure. The city entity, which is ICC right here, very proud. It's led by a woman, Lindiwe, but again, a critical element of the conferences and conventions led by Usis Kuku, which talks to a critical part in terms of, the tourism vehicle of driving more visitors into the city. So we're really proud that we've got the women in the forefront leading these different, agendas to grow our tourism. Now, something very exciting, which again is about creativity, innovation, and when you introduced her, you indicated that she was a winner in the Business Tourism, Awards. Women in tourism, something that we never thought of, but boom, she came with Flying Dress Initiative. That is now a unique experience and addition to the offering that in Durban, there's the flying dress. And a lot of people fly to Durban to just come and have this experience.
For the flying dress.
For the flying dress. So that, for us, it talks to that all these uniqueness, this is just a sample of the women. There's many other women out there. So the Women in Tourism program, it's about recognizing the impact that the women continue to do. So year on year, ever since we started it, we recognize them, even our community tourism organizations that are led by women chairpersons, we recognize them. Even other products that we might have. We've got, for example, Ulondi Ngobo, who is the first African captain of Idreja. Idreja is like a plant ship that actually moves, creates way for vessels in the cruise liner. So that's a male-dominated, space. So she was the first African lady to actually do it, and she's from Durban. So those are the things at which we are saying we are proud of women in our space of Durban that contribute to the growth of the tourism, from innovative products, from growing the economy, and also bringing innovative ideas into the space of tourism.
Thank you so much for that scene set, Winile. I think it's pretty much clear, Uguti, we are seated here with women who know their story when it comes to tourism. So you certainly can also pick up a thing or two or three or four or five by the end of this conversation. Before I move on to the rest of the panel, Winile, I want to just find out, sometimes when women are placed at the helm of structures as big as tourism, industries as big as tourism, it's almost looked at as though they are just there as seat warmers. Like they don't have a voice in policy making and the strategies that need to be put in place and implemented for this vehicle to move. Are there any engagements, Plambe, that you're on top of to make sure that women are not just there as bench warmers, as seat warmers, but actually have a voice that can be heard, a voice that counts?
Absolutely. It's important that when we say women in tourism, it's not just a statement, and the women are not just tokens, like trophies to be just beautiful out there. You know, just starting with, not to be blowing my own horn, but is to say, as a person who's entrusted with such a responsibility to be driving tourism in the city. Now, for me, it's important to also bring in other women into the space, because as women, I believe when we are together, we can be able to make things happen. From a city point of view, working with the province and other, you know, entities within the tourism value chain, you know, organized business, we have a regular, you know, a standing engagement or a forum where we discuss the business of tourism. And what I'm proud of is to say is that starting from the city and then from a provincial level, there is my colleague Uche Kimotsepe, who is also a woman. She's driving the tourism as a chief operations officer in the province. And then we've got private sector represented by organized business. It's SATSA, you know, the South African Tourism Services Associations, and also the CTO chairpersons, which are female, you know, as well as the FEDASAs, who, you know, there's women representation. So we do have, you know, those engagements, standing engagements in terms of periodic initiatives and programs to drive the agenda of promoting women in tourism space. Now, how do we do that? We identify the gaps, because tourism is at different levels, including informal trade, you know, tourism, because we need to also bring in the informal, you know, trade tourism women. And then again, when we take, you know, destination promotion, we bring in the women, you know, in the business of tourism with us to be the face of their businesses in the platforms that are in international platforms as well as national platforms when we do trade shows and other conventions. So it starts with the discussion in terms of the programs and plans that we have in the pipeline, but it also goes to us taking them with us. We actually subsidize their participation in those trade shows. It could be in London, it could be in Germany, but recently another critical thing is the recognition of the women in tourism in the in the Durban Tourism Business Awards, where there were many women businesses that were recognized in the different categories. So in the tourism experience, we've got walking tours that is driven by women. So that is another recognition. We've got the flying dress right here and many others, you know, that were recognized in the Business Tourism Awards. It doesn't end there. There's also an aftercare program for the businesses that may have been part of the program, but where they may not have won, what is the aftercare to make sure that going forward, they actually are able to be part of the process of, you know, standing a chance to be the winners.
Beautiful. Durban Tourism very clearly and very unapologetically being about agenda women. Now, you've referenced a lot what happened at the Durban Tourism Business Awards. I was lucky enough to be in the room, so I felt the room shake when we announced Keshni and the Durban flying dress as the winner in one of the categories. So let me come to you with this part of the discussion, Keshni. What inspired Durban flying dress, and with the growth that you have had and enjoyed since the inception, what did it feel like being called up on stage to receive an award at the Durban Tourism Business Awards?
Thanks, and Jobs. The inspiration behind Durban flying dress was ignited from my travels abroad. I saw these flying dress photo shoots and it captivated me. And then I just decided to do it. And it was my first ever photo shoot. So I saw myself in a whole new light. It was then that the entrepreneurial wheels began to turn. I thought to myself, we live in such a beautiful city. Yeah. And, you know, why not bring this magic to Durban? And so inspired by that transformation, I simply wanted to create something unique and meaningful. An experience where women of all ages, shapes, stories could just feel bold, beautiful, and unforgettable in a cinematic way, using our city as a backdrop. So, yeah, you know, what started as an idea rooted in creativity and empowerment has now become a movement. We're doing it one dress at a time, one story at a time, and it's exciting. So we've since partnered with a lot of other tourism companies to expand our offerings to include solo, couples, maternity, family. We do horse shoots, mother and daughter shoots. We do luxury and vintage car shoots, private yacht, helicopter adventures, as well as luxury hotel brand shoots. All aimed at capturing memories that transcend time. Winning the Durban Tourism Entrepreneur of the Year award has been a deeply affirming milestone. It's elevated our visibility, it's opened doors, and I think most importantly, it's strengthened my confidence as a woman business owner.
Yeah.
That just reminds me that, passion, purpose, and perseverance can create something truly impactful, even if it just begins as a dream.
And maybe that is the perfect kind of segue into the next question. There are a lot of women that sit on amazing ideas because of fear. There's just trepidation. The market is already saturated, oversaturated. Why should I get into it? Mine won't work. Mine will fail. I have gotten this idea from somewhere else, so maybe it's going to flop when I bring it over to Durban. There's just so much fear that goes hand in hand with starting something new. You've walked the journey. You've enjoyed some success in the journey. Much more still to come. So what would you say, having walked the mile that you have, to other women who are in two minds about getting into this entrepreneurial roller coaster or just staying off of it?
I would say, firstly, just start. The perfect moment rarely comes. I think what matters is courage, authenticity, and starting with what you have. Ground your business in meaningful connection. Tourism thrives on emotions, not just offerings. Even as a high fashion brand, we recognize the power of intimacy, creating experiences rather than just simply taking photos. When you build with purpose, your brand becomes an invitation to others to feel seen, celebrated, and transformed. Lastly, I would say celebrate your every milestone, small or big. The journey from a quiet spark to an experiential brand featured across Durban is worth honoring, and especially for a woman forging her path in tourism and creativity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Keshini. Can't wait to experience the Durban flying dress experience. I want to do mine in a yacht. I'm that girl.
Yes.
I'm the yacht girl. I'm the helicopter girl. I leave the horses to the rest of the panel. Thank you so much. Let me come to you, Sis Goku. You are the conventions manager for one of the biggest international convention centers that we have in the country, the Durban ICC. This is no easy feat. So I want to talk to you about how you see Abantu Besifazane shaping, like the management, the treatment of big events that come to the convention center. How are we making sure that our stamp is felt as Abantu Besifazane and how we treat everything from start to finish?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jeps. The conferencing space, I think, for me to even, start talking, I think it's important to explain that this is something that nobody went to school for. It's not taught in universities. It's something that you have to learn from other people that were in the forefront. And we all know that, Siswinile can tell you, within the space that it was a very male-dominant industry.
Yeah.
And we're still trying to change that. And I'm very fortunate to come from an organization where it's female-led, as Winile highlighted, and that makes things easy. However, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. And I think when it comes to women contributing to the space in terms of transforming the space, it's in twofold. So firstly, it's women creating events and conferences. But also not just that, we also need to be able to participate. Why do associations or conferences take place, or businesses hold conferences or meetings? It's to develop policies. It is to change policies or formulate, strategies. And if we are not in the room, then it means we are left out. So it's important for us to be out there. And in terms of my role at Durban ICC, and, I think people, when they see conferences taking place, they think it's just a matter of conference organizers, deciding that we're going to Durban. No, there's a lot of work that requires all of the stakeholders involved in bidding that actually takes place. The likes of Durban ICC, obviously, but we also rely on government, Durban Tourism, eThekwini, the KwaZulu-Natal Convention Bureau, and also national as well, but also the private sector. So there's a whole lot of, stakeholders that needs to come on board, but women are leading most of those organizations, which is quite interesting. So we're quite excited to see the shift, but also because of women, we see the space being more inclusive. We see, discussions leaning towards making women, comfortable, but also the conferences themselves. They are designed in a way that, they are, exciting, they're creative, including technology and all of those things. So, yeah, it's quite a huge a GDP contributor, just conferences. So, but yeah, we're excited.
Siskuku, you are in a critical leadership role, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned in Dabaye inclusivity.
Yeah.
A lot of women in roles like yours receive a lot of flack for not for not leading inclusively.
Yeah.
So perhaps with inclusivity being as important as it is, what advice would you give to other women in leadership roles like yours to lead with inclusivity?
So firstly, I'll say, for the women that are not yet in leadership, start where you are.
Okay.
Because then that helps you.
It doesn't start with the title.
It doesn't.
Got
it doesn't.
Got
And
you.
to women that are already in leadership, I'll say, leadership, inclusive leadership it has nothing to do with results, but it's about how do you help another person to bring them to the table that you're already sitting in. It's about creating a space where the other person is able to share their ideas, to feel comfortable. So basically an environment where people are inspired.
Thank you so much. Let me move on to Ms. Christine Standeven, owner of Shongweni Farmers Market. Really, really big when you think of Durban, when you think of markets. You cannot not think of Shongweni Farmers Market first. A massive entity that you have built. Congratulations on that. Could you please just share with us what the thought process was like when you decided to jump in head first and create for us something that we are so lucky to be able to experience in Durban, Shongweni Farmers Market?
Thank you. In the beginning, it was just about a little farmer's market, and in our area, people selling excess. And eventually we realized people wanted to go somewhere, but not just buy and go home. They wanted to stay. So we slowly started including crafts, and I was astounded that so many people were living on the breadline. They had lost their jobs. They were now creating items that other people wanted to buy.
Yeah.
They were now little businesses. And we realized that if we could create the right platform and attract the right people, they could grow their businesses and not be every month wondering where the last cent was going to come just to put their kids through school, pay the electricity. And this started forming for us a different path. It now became a path of responsibility. These people were relying on us to better our platform at any stage. We couldn't just keep it as a little rendezvous for 2 hours in the morning. We had to structure our business in such a way, budget, put money back into the business at all times, grow the business, slowly extend hours so the more public would come, get on every advertising platform that we could. I'd never done this in my life before. I was a sales rep for Brabies. There was no internet when I was working, but that little bit of grounding selling advertising gave me. I learned, I applied it. We started attracting more stallholders of value. We then started joining other platforms such as Durban Tourism, Thousand Hills Tourism, South Coast, North Coast, because we realized we had to draw from all over. But our main focus ultimately was create a platform for people to survive. At the beginning, they were only surviving. Slowly, they paid off their debts. They became proud of what they were doing. We also had to teach people. Don't be scared to try a new idea at market. If it fails, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you tried.
Yeah.
And that is the most important thing, is to try. People who sit in their chair moping, oh, I can't do this. And then I'll say to them, but what can't you do? It's not going to cost a lot. It's a bit of time. It's a bit of energy. And to stand behind your product and be proud of it. I do realize some people can make beautiful things but have no idea how to sell it. So I will then allocate them somebody to help them. I'll just digress a little bit to informal traders. We have what we call a whole area of informal traders at our markets. We do not charge them to be there. I just expect them to show up. And what we do, if one is crocheting or knitting, I'll say to them, can I allocate a young lady to you? Can you teach her? Young people today don't know how to do that anymore.
We don't.
And you'd actually be shocked how many of those young girls we allocated years ago have their own businesses.
Beautiful.
They make clothing. They've learned to sew just by letting a goga, who I know where to go find them, bring them to us and say, here is someone to help.
So on that note, Christine, I'm sure you have seen the value of women being involved in the local farmers market scene, right? Be it as an informal trader, as a formal trader, in the artisanal side of things. What extra value is there when it's a woman at the helm, when it's a woman at the forefront, and it's a woman that's getting involved in farmers markets?
I find the women are far more responsible. They plan. They know how their business works. And if they don't know something, they ask.
They ask for help.
They are not shy to ask for help. I have explained to people what a cost of sale means. They were just excited if they had 200 Rand. I said, no, you don't have 200 Rand. There's a cost to that 200 Rand, and we work out what that 200 Rand that came in, what it cost. And all of a sudden that light bulb kicks, and they write everything in the book, and they come and show me.
Yeah.
And nowadays, a lot of them don't even have to anymore. I can just see it, the way they walk, the way that they address people. And often they'll come to me and they say, have you got anyone new? Can we teach?
Nice.
And I find women, because maybe it's how women have been brought up, as they're the ones who are organizing children, they are the ones who keep the houses going, keep the grocery cupboard full. They have another type of responsibility that sometimes men don't. And I think they take this and they show it in their business sense. So, but that's more about how the women work with us. If I can just get back to tourism.
Sure.
As I said, I look at tourism as like a little pyramid. Tourism is sitting on the top. They bring the people in. We have to have platforms that tourism can rely on us to have the correct platform for the visitors to come to. Because no matter how many people they get in here, if they go to, say, Durban beachfront, and no one's cleaned the beachfront for the morning, the tourism person has put so much work into doing that. So if that platform is not clean and neat and tidy, it's a disaster. We need to work with tourism. We need to work with the municipalities, with the police force. I work with our municipality quite closely. Unfortunately, in our area, there's no such thing as cleaning the roads. We do it all ourselves. We get together as a community. We fix our own potholes. We don't cry about it anymore because I know there's so much more demand elsewhere for repairs. We fix our potholes. And I find fixing a pothole is like our business. We make sure we are ready for the public that are arriving, whether they are local, international. I want to put our best front forward. And our stall holders, we are strict. Cell phones are a no-no when you're trying to sell something to someone. As I say to the stall holders, be responsible. These people have taken time to drive all this way to come and see you. They don't want to see the top of your head. They want to see your face. So if it's an emergency, yes, take the call, but just walk away. But don't read a book at your stand.
Sure.
You've got these 4-5 hours to engage. And that's the same whether it's my business or a cleaner on the Durban beachfront. I go to the Durban beachfront. I love it. And I greet a cleaner, and they always greet me with a smile. And I just think everybody deserves recognition in no matter what they're doing.
Sure.
And a lot of the cleaners are women.
Being personable.
Yes.
I do like that. I really do. Now, what opportunities, Christine, before I wrap up with you, would you say exist for women to take advantage of in terms of being in the tourism sector, working closely with Durban Tourism?
We, like the awards for Durban Tourism, we go to different stall holders and we say, please enter. We've had quite a few almost get there with their creativity, and others who've said, oh no, I'll never get anywhere. I just say try.
Yeah.
And we encourage them. We're not a management style company. We just sit back and let everything happen. We make it happen. I'm constantly encouraging people to go further, to stretch themselves. If need be, I will suggest different things for them if I know what they're capable of. There is a lot for women to get involved in. Tourism is not just about selling beads. It's about selling clothing. It's about selling your personality for that visitor to take that small item home and give it to a loved one. And it's not about crafts only. Sorry, I said that. It's about anything that you make. It can be about a meal you make, that when they get home, we've had emails from overseas. That particular food, can I contact that stall holder because I've tried to recreate this recipe and I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's normally because they can't get the proper ingredients.
Ali keep up at Jermaine.
And you know how fulfilling it is when we hear that.
Yeah.
I've just had someone from the US ask for a particular artist that they saw, and they want to follow them now on their Instagram, but they couldn't remember the name.
Beautiful.
So we've given all that over. Our visitors that come are incredible. You can hear the Americans, you can see the Germans.
Yeah.
And they walk through our market and it's like, wow, wow. And I always just say, bye, bye. You know, I want bags going out the market because then I have happy stall holders.
Yeah. Well, clearly you have created quite the space for us to revel in, and I'm really excited that you get international visitors as well. But I'm extra excited for you and I to continue experiencing markets like Eshongweni Farmers Market. See you on Sunday, Christine. Thank you.
I'll be at home. It better be Saturday.
Christine.
Thank you.
Now, my final panelist is a lady who looks like she belongs elsewhere, not at a Shisanyama, because we've created this image, and I'm saying that because we've created an image of what a person who visits Amashisanyama should look like. So I'm glad that you are sitting here, Malanga, looking as gorgeous as you are, because you are breaking yet another stereotype, right? So talk to me about how Imakaba Lounge came into existence. It's been that it took for you to get into the Shisanyama space, knowing that it's male-dominated the way that it is. Why did that not deter you as your entry point into the tourism sector?
Thanks, Jebs, for your question. Makaba Lounge, let me just elaborate that the location for Makaba is in Mpumalanga Township, which is between two cities of KwaZulu-Natal, Pietermaritzburg and Durban. So that demographic channel was a big key for us. And surely, that's my hometown. I'm from Hammersdale. But being Umakaba as well, we have to identify the product because we saw the lack of transformation. We saw the lack of business model in the township. You know, I remember because we opened Makaba 11 years ago. And when we saw that gap in the market for tourism space, then that is where we came on board, because from entertainment point of view to the hospitality point of view, there was nothing of that nature. And what was most important for us, it was more of its target market. Our target market are the young professionals, because you find that during the week or during the week, yes, they work so hard and they wanted the space
to relax,
to socialize, to make deals, you know. Sure. You can't keep on making deals at the office. So that's where we came with the platform or the opportunity to open Umakaba Lounge. Yeah.
I'm sure you have faced a number of challenges being in the space that you're in. What are some of those, and how has it been easier, being in partnership with other entities like Durban Tourism, so that you continue to thrive in the space?
As most of the candidates here they indicated, e-tourism sector, it's a male-dominated business. Surely even with Umakaba as the tourism establishment in the township, it's like mainly male-dominated. But as a woman, I had to prove myself twice as hard to my customers, very important, to my suppliers, and to the community as a whole. That my vision is valuable. They can be able to understand my vision, and they see it live, because to understand the vision and to see it live is two different aspects. So for me, I had to make sure that that kind of element is becoming a big role to the community. As I indicated with the suppliers, I had to play another role as well, because I have to come with the innovative strategy to make sure that how my business is going to be able to reduce the working capital within the business. So I had numerous meetings with different suppliers where I had to provide the brand loyalty for their brands in exchange for them to upgrade and to provide the assets within my business. So I didn't have to buy most of the assets in the business, because I give them the platform that if you come on board, I'm going to be able to showcase, I'm going to be able to be loyal to your brand. So for me, I did not go to the bank and loan the money from the bank, but I was very innovative enough to interact with my suppliers, tell them to come on board in terms of the business.
Innovation, quite important. I also like that you went out of the box and decided to use bargaining as something to help you move forward. You know, ungangena esikweletini with a bank when you have bargaining as a tool that you can use. Before you put your mic down, Nomcebo, a final one from me. Despite the challenges that exist in the tourism and hospitality sector, would you still encourage omunye umuntu wesifazane who's sitting there saying, I've heard from Nomcebo and I don't feel like doing that. Is it worth it?
Definitely, it is worth it. I'm going to be very critical with my answer on that one, Jabs. You know, we are in 2025 right now, and we are on the 31 years in the democracy. The government has implemented so many policies, legislation, and in terms of us as individuals to make sure that we benefit so much from those policies. I'll make an example. One of the policies like radical economic transformation. That, for me, it's before, we never had that kind of a platform before coming from the township. But as one of the entrepreneurs, as one of the citizens of the country, I benefited so much from those kind of transformation or those kind of platform. So as a woman or as an individual, we must not be able to be scared or afraid to start. Government has done already, Durban Tourism has done already for us. Etegoni municipality has done so much, but us as individuals, we need to meet them halfway with the support. We can't be able to want everything from the public sector or like from Durban Tourism for them to assist us in the business. We need to be innovative, as I mentioned earlier. What are the methodology as a business person you're going to be able to implement in your business to make sure that if you align what the funding or what the platform from the government point of view, taking it together with what you need to indicate with your business, you can be able to make it in the business.
Thank you so much, Nomcebo. Siswinile, let me wrap up with you, right? We started with you, we're wrapping up with you. Full circle moment. Now, Women in Tourism has made incredible strides since 2013, and we would obviously love to see it continue further into our future so that we have more women like today's panel sitting and sharing with abanye who are yet to come into the industry on the incredible things that await us. I know the theme for this year is tourism powered by her. How are we going to use this theme to make sure that what we have built as Abantu Besifazane in the tourism sector continues for generations to come?
All right, thank you. I think firstly is the inspiration of the theme. When we say tourism powered by her, we're basically advocating or emphasizing the role of the her, which are women, the ladies, like such as these ladies here, that continue to power and contribute to the agenda of tourism and growing tourism. Now, that contribution is through different aspects, obviously induced by us as government through creating an enabling environment, such as access to markets, access to information, access to infrastructure, and many other platforms so that they can be able, to operate and grow their business. But it's also about getting the same women amongst themselves in the tourism space, the private sector women, to actually interact, learn from each other, grow from each other, inspire each other, because lighting the other woman's candle as you are in the tourism, it's taking nothing away from you, but it's actually growing you and fulfilling you, in terms of the difference that you are making. Now, again, powered by her is to say, as we are focusing to the future, from where we are coming from, the interventions that we've done in terms of bringing, enabling environments like a knowledge economy environment, where we would bring other thought leaders, from across the country to engage with our local, women, learn from them and share ideas and be inspired and also, to grow their businesses. We are now saying we want to take things to another level because tourism is an evolving sector. The tourism of 10 years ago or pre-COVID is a different tourism now. So together with such great minds because you've heard in terms of the businesses each of them is running. Each year, it demonstrates the evolution and the growth. And the way they express it, it tells you that there's big, powerful visions that they actually have for the next 5 and 10 years. So us as Durban Tourism, because they are the drivers of creating the supply of the experiences that we sell, we are behind them to just make sure that whatever vision they have as women, we are behind them to make sure that they fulfill and get their visions into fruition. Because if we do that, then we all win. And if we do that, we win through the women. We get more women into the value chain of tourism and actually erode this myth of male dominance. We have more shisanyamas that are driven by women, not to say that shisanyamas that are driven by women, then they fail. We have the nomcebos to inspire more women, just like Christine said, to say, she asked the older women to train the younger women. So it's all about that. The older generation training and capacitating the younger generation so that the knowledge and the baton continues, in the journey of the next 5, next 10-year vision that we have in the tourism. And the destination actually wins. The new innovative experiences that we have. Today we've got flying dresses as a new experience. Now this has inspired another young person who is a woman out there to bring in something else that might complement the flying dresses, and it contributes to the offering of tourism. So we really are confident in these women because against all odds and challenges they experience, they actually, stick it out. They stand the test of time against all odds, because as a woman, I think Usis Nomcebo said it, that you just have to raise your voice twice as hard in the table. So we are here as Durban Tourism to say we are behind you. We are saying the woman in the tourism space, it must not just be a dream. She indicated, just start. It must be a dream, a vision, but get it into action and you will make it. When you fail, fail forward. Don't actually despair, and you will make a difference. No business here had it very smooth, even in any environment, because when you fail, you learn, you grow. So as women, with the tenacity, the resilience, we are behind them, and we believe they will take our tourism into greater heights.
She moves, she leads, she is in tourism. Thank you so much to my panelists for being with me today. If there's at least one woman that we have inspired through this conversation, I think we can say job well done. Please do continue forth in your journeys as entrepreneurs, as leaders in entities. It's incredible to see Abantu Besifazane doing remarkable things across the tourism sector. Please do find and follow our pages on social media platforms. It's Durban Flying Dress, the Durban ICC, Eshongweni Farmers Market, and Makaba Lounge. And that's just one way you can show support to women-led entities, but also do visit and enjoy Durban. It is our city to revel in it. And akwazi ukuthi sizwe ngabanye abantu what a beautiful place Durban is when we don't enjoy it ourselves. Ladies, thank you once again, and enjoy the rest of Women's Month.
Gagasi FM.
The sound of KZ.